They built you to be average, trained you to obey, taught you to survive, but never to rise. So let me ask you one question. When did you agree to be ordinary? Because if you didn't come here to stay small, then this is the moment everything changes. They told you to be realistic, to stay in your lane, to follow the script. Graduate, get a job, keep your head down, and just maybe you'll retire without regrets. But here's the truth they never told you. Greatness was never meant to be realistic. It was forged by the unreasonable, by those who refused to accept the ordinary as their destiny. Look around. Every skyscraper once began as a whisper in someone's mind. Every empire was once ridiculed as a dream too bold. Edison was mocked when he failed 1,000 times. Ford was laughed out of meetings for suggesting an 8-cylinder engine in one block. Disney was told he lacked imagination. And yet these men built legacies from dust and denial. Why? Because they understood something most never will. The extraordinary is not given. It is claimed. With mindset, with clarity, with an inner revolution that begins long before the world ever takes notice. You see, most people walk through life like sleepwalkers. They punch clocks, fill forms, answer emails. I eat, work, scroll, and sleep, never once asking, is this what I was made for? And if you dare to ask it, if you dare to wake up, they'll call you foolish. They'll say, don't get your hopes up. They'll call your ambition arrogance. But listen to me. And the ones who changed history were the ones who didn't ask for permission. It begins here, in your mind. Not in your bank account. Not in your circumstances. Not in your family name or your degree or your lucky break. It starts with one sacred decision. I will no longer think like the average. I will rewire every thought, every belief, every habit to match the life I demand. Because if your thoughts are weak, your results will be too. You cannot manifest greatness while worshiping mediocrity. You cannot expect abundance while entertaining doubt. Mindset is not positive thinking. It is mental warfare. It is training your mind to see the mountain and whisper, move. When the storm hits, and it will, most people shrink. They look for shelter. They hope someone will come save them. But the extraordinary, they become the storm. They decide the weather inside them will not bow to the chaos around them. Because clarity is not found, it's forged. You must become clear, crystal clear on what you want. Not what your parents want. Not what society expects. But what burns in your soul when the lights are off and the noise fades. What is that image that keeps calling you in silence? That version of you who walks taller, speaks with certainty, lives with fire. Don't ignore that vision. That's not fantasy. That's instruction. That's your soul screaming, this is who we were meant to become. But clarity is only the spark. Without purpose, it dies. Purpose is fuel. It is the reason you rise when the alarm hits at 4 a.m. It is the reason you say no to distraction, to comfort, to mediocrity. It is the reason you suffer now, so you never suffer the regret of never becoming. Ask Carnegie why he built libraries across nations. Ask Mandela why he endured 27 years in prison. Ask Rosa Parks why she didn't move from that seat. Purpose makes pain irrelevant. Purpose makes fear a stepping stone. Purpose makes ordinary people immortal. But even purpose is not enough without discipline. Because motivation fades, but hype dies. And when the fire burns low, only one thing will keep you moving. Discipline. Discipline is not about being strict. It is about being in love with who you are becoming. It is loyalty to your future self. It is showing up when no one claps, no one watches, and no one cares. Because you do. Because you made a vow. And a vow that says, I do not quit. Not on this. Not on me. Let the world laugh. Let them doubt. Let them scroll past your progress. But you keep building, brick by brick, habit by habit, because discipline compounds. A single push-up becomes strength. A single book becomes wisdom. A single dollar becomes wealth. A single courageous action becomes legacy. You don't need to overhaul your life in one day. You need only to win today, then tomorrow, and then again. You don't rise from ordinary to extraordinary in a leap. You rise in quiet moments, when you choose growth over comfort, vision over distraction, action over fear. And if action is the engine, then faith is the ignition. Because action without belief is like a ship without sails. It moves nowhere, no matter how hard you row. You must believe so deeply in the vision you hold, so that even when the entire world says impossible, you whisper back, watch me. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith is certainty without evidence. It is standing on the edge of the cliff and building your wings on the way down. Every revolutionary, every builder of worlds had to believe before the world caught up. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And that's the truth most people choke on. They won't believe because belief requires courage. It requires risking failure, ridicule, and heartbreak. But listen closely. Every extraordinary life begins with someone who had the courage to believe without applause, to act without permission, to move when no one said go. You must take that first step into the unknown, not when the path is lit, but when it's pitch black and all you have is the fire inside you. Most people wait. They wait for the right time, the right idea, the right mood. And you know what waiting creates? Waves. Waves full of unspoken dreams and unfinished lives. But you were not born to wait. You were born to command your destiny. So move. Even if your legs tremble, even if your voice shakes, even if you don't know the next 99 steps, take the first one, and then the next, and then the next. Because each action sharpens the blade of your destiny. Each choice bends the universe around your will. The Wright brothers didn't wait for approval to fly. They defied gravity itself. Because they didn't just believe in flight. They acted like it was inevitable. And when you live like that, when your actions match your beliefs, you become unstoppable. But understand this. No mountain is climbed without resistance. No masterpiece is painted without frustration. No legacy is born without the labor of resilience. You will fall. You will fail. You will be tested by fire, by loss, by doubt. But the extraordinary, they do not break. They bend. They adapt. When the storm comes, they don't panic, they pivot. When the plan fails, they don't crumble, they create a new one. Because they know the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is the process of success. Ask Thomas Edison how many times he failed to invent the light bulb. He'll say, I didn't fail, I found 10,000 ways that didn't work. That's not just optimism, that's resilience. That's mental immortality. You want to go from ordinary to extraordinary? Then you must become a student of adversity. You must learn from the pain. You must study your setbacks. You must honor every scar, because each one carved you into someone sharper, wiser, and stronger than you were before. Don't just survive your storms. Grow through them. Become refined by fire, not consumed by it. And in that heat, something magical happens. You discover your true edge. You stop fearing obstacles and start hunting them. Because you know that comfort creates copies. But pain births originals. And once you've mastered that inner fire, There is one more shift that transforms everything. Attitude. Not the cliche, not the surface level be thankful slogans, but real, raw, soul-deep gratitude, the kind that whispers. I am grateful for this struggle because it's making me dangerous. I am grateful for being underestimated because it gives me space to rise silently. I am grateful for this moment, even if it hurts, because I will alchemize it into gold. Gratitude doesn't make you soft. It makes you powerful. Because when you're grateful, even the pain has purpose. Even the delay is divine. Gratitude sharpens your perspective. It turns lack into abundance. It shifts you from victim to visionary. And when you live like that, grounded in belief, fueled by purpose, disciplined by choice, adaptable through adversity and armed with gratitude, you become the architect of your own reality. No one can stop a mind like that. No setback can silence a soul on fire. No failure can bury someone who refuses to stay down. Because at that point, you are no longer ordinary. You are extraordinary by design. And the world will try to label you too intense, too obsessed, too driven. But the truth is, they're just afraid of what it looks like when someone actually awakens. You were not born to blend in. You were born to burn through the noise, to walk like thunder and build like gods. And when you rise with that kind of clarity, purpose, and fire, there is only one word the world will use to describe you: unstoppable. Unstoppable is not a title someone gives you. It's a decision you make, and in silence, in struggle, in solitude. When no one is watching and everything inside you wants to quit, but something greater inside you refuses, that's the moment. That's the shift. The second you stop negotiating with your greatness, the second you stop asking the world for permission to matter, you decide once and for all that you will no longer live life on default settings. You will no longer shrink to fit the expectations of the small-minded. You will no longer carry the weight of generational fear like it's a badge of honor. You will stand up. You will reclaim your voice. You will make choices that terrify the old you. And you will do it not because it's easy, but because you finally remembered who you are. You are not some accident of biology. You are not the echo of someone else's doubt. You are not statistics, circumstances, or predictions. You are the spark that topples empires of limitation. You are the vision that bends reality. You are the one. And make no mistake, the world doesn't change when the masses move. It changes when the few, the bold, decide they've had enough. You were born for that decision. You were born to take every limitation you were handed, every doubt they threw at you, every ceiling they placed above your head, and shatter it like glass, because you've seen it now. You felt it. There's no going back to ordinary. Ordinary is suffocating. Ordinary is the cage. Ordinary is a story written by someone who gave up on their own dreams and handed you the pen. But today you take it back. You rip that script in half and write your own chapters. Chapters where fear doesn't dictate your pace, where comparison doesn't poison your worth, where you don't live for the applause, you live for the alignment. Because deep down, you know, the goal is not just to succeed. It's to become the kind of person your younger self would cry tears of pride to meet, to become the ancestor your descendants will thank, to become the embodiment of possibility. And when your time on this earth ends, because one day it will, they won't just say you lived. They'll say you awakened others. You lit fires in dead places. You walked like a lion among the sleepwalkers. And they'll whisper your name, that with reverence, not because you were lucky, not because you had it easy, but because you chose to rise. You chose to become uncommon, unapologetic, unrelenting, unbreakable. From ordinary to extraordinary. It was never about them. It was always you. And now? Now is the time. Now is the hour. Now is the line in the sand. This is the moment your old self dies. And the one you were born to be takes command. So rise. Speak your name with conviction. Look in the mirror not for flaws, but for fire. And don't just live this life. Leave a mark so deep the universe takes notice. Because this world doesn't need more copies. It needs you. Fully awake. Fully unleashed. Not someday. Now. Right here. Right damn now.